Hey, everybody, welcome to this episode of The Spark. I'm Coach David. Hope you're doing great on today, and I hope that your life is moving in the right direction. I hope that you are after it on today, that you are doing those things that you need to do in order to build the life that you want, because certainly the power to do that, it is in your hands. You just have to make a decision. You got to learn how, and then you just got to go out and get it done. So I encourage you to do that on today. Hey, listen, we've been talking about trust the process. Actually, this is our third week. We're going to talk about it again today, because what we want to do, we want to continue to give you things that will lead you and help you to trust the process. You got to know that you got a process and you got to work the process. And as you begin to do that, you're going to see great things happen. Now, last week, we kind of got into it, and it really helped us to understand that, that we got to stay with the process. Today, I'm going to hit you with one I think that is really going to take you to another level if you will embrace it. So listen to this right here. Today, we're going to talk about why most people quit right before the results appear. That's right. We're going to talk about that on today. We're going to talk about trusting the process and why most people quit right before they see the results that they're wanting to see. See, this is what I understand. Most people don't quit because the process doesn't work. What happened is they quit because the evidence doesn't appear soon enough, or it hasn't appeared yet. So what we're looking at when we start talking about that, we're talking about, hey, look, this is going to take some time. But what the brain wants, what your brain wants, it wants proof. And when it's not getting that proof, it starts to whisper things to you like, hey, maybe this really isn't working. Or maybe I should try something else. Or maybe even I'm just wasting my time here and I'm not moving in the right direction. I want to help you with that on today. I want you to stay with it, because this is the truth of the matter. Every process is at work silently before it works visibly. So we're going to get into that. And here's the truth too. The people who succeed the most are the people who do not quit. They don't give up. They don't cave in. They understand that there are, there's systems, if you will, or stages, if you will, to the process, and they just stick with the process and they just keep going. So I want to talk to you today about 3 distinct stages to every process. There are 3 distinct stages, and if you'll understand these and if you'll learn these, then what you're going to see, you're going to be able to stay with it long term and see the process through all the way to the end. So let's talk about stage 1. Stage 1 is the invisible phase of the process. Now, it's invisible because here's what happens. Immediate action is not happening. You don't see anything immediately. And so what is going on is not happening. So we don't think that we're processing. When the progress is invisible, what happens to people is their motivational level will drop and they begin to doubt. And doubt is the killer of so many big dreams. Because the truth of the matter is, if you begin to think, look, this isn't working, or I'm not good enough, or maybe I should try something else, what's going to happen to you, your motivation for the process is going to drop. And if you're not careful, you will abandon the process altogether. You have to understand that behind the scenes, as it were, there is something going on. It is helping, it is working, it is going on, and you have just got to stick with it long enough to see it work. I'm going to give you a perfect example of that. If you've ever gone to the gym and began to work out, I want you to think about this. When you get in the gym and you begin to work out, let's say you're going to go in and you say, hey, look, I'm going to lose some weight. I'm going to build some muscle. Man, you are sore, you are tired, and you hop on the scale thinking for a big result and you get nothing. It looks like the scale is stuck. And so you're like, what in the world is going on? But I want to caution you with this right here. Change is happening. It's just not visible. And so if you understand that, then you can hang in there a little bit longer. You can stay with it a little bit longer. And you can say, you know what? No matter what, I am going to stay with this process because I'm going to trust the process. Understand this rule right here. All real progress has an invisible phase. There is a phase when it does not appear like anything is happening, but you're putting in the work. But this is what I want you to get. The work happens before the reward appears. In other words, in the gym, you're going to be sore because you're working. You're going to be tired because you're working, and you're going to look like the scale is stuck. But I promise you that if you will stay with it and you will understand this one important rule, all progress has an invisible season, an invisible phase. It's no different than when you plant seed in the ground. When you plant seed in the ground, you don't see the Jack and the Beanstalk story. It takes time. There is a process to the process. You've got to trust the process long enough to see the reward. And I'll tell you right now that if you'll do that, you're going to see things happen. So, the invisible phase, man, it can be tricky. It can really mess with your mind if you allow it to. But you got to know my process is working. I just can't see it right now. And that's okay. It's okay if I don't see any results right now. But I know that if I'm willing to stay forever, if I'm willing to continue to work, if I'm willing to do those things that I need to do, that in due season, in due time, something is going to happen. And when it happens, that's going to be my reward. And my reward is going to appear. Okay, so that's the invisible phase or the invisible stage. Okay, I told you there's 3 stages to the process. And the first one is the invisible one. Now, here's the second one. And the second one, if you're not careful, it can trip you up. The second one is what I call the highs and lows of the process. Okay, see, there's a moment in every process where your effort is really, really high, but your results are low. I mean, you're not gaining, or you're very slowly gaining. And see, this is where if you're not careful, you will allow the frustration of the process to set in. You've been showing up. You've been doing what you're supposed to do. You've been working hard. You've been putting 100% effort into it, but nothing seems to be happening. And so what you got to do, you got to look at that and say, well, wait a minute now, what's going on here? And if you're not careful, this is where most people start renegotiating their commitment. Oh yeah, they were committed coming out the gate. Oh yeah, I'm going to be in the gym every day. I'm going to be at practice every day. I'm going to put in the extra reps. I'm going to do those things that I need to do. But then when it slows down and it doesn't look like anything is happening, or when I'm putting in all of this high level effort and I'm getting low level results, I might look at that and say, wait a minute, maybe I need to do something. I'm going to give you a real world example that I deal with on a daily basis. I coach a dynamic drill team. Listen to me. I coach a dynamic drill team. These kids are some drillers, and I'm telling you, they get after it. And so what happens is that they come in and they work hard. Okay, they grind it out. It's what I call the grind. They're in the grind. They're coming into practice. They're tired. They do it after school. They're tired. We do it 3 times a week for an hour and a half, 2 hours at a time. They are tired. And they're like, look, we're putting all this in. But yet and still, I still keep getting the correction from First Sergeant. I still keep hearing all of what I'm not doing right. If you're not careful, if they're not careful, they'll start renegotiating their commitment to being a national champion. Listen, you have to expect the valley. That's just a part of it. And if I know the valley is coming, it won't break me. No. I'm committed to this. I started at the beginning committed, and I said that I would be committed all the way through. But I got to ask myself the question, why isn't this working? That's the question. Listen, all you got to do is stay with the process. Keep executing your process. Keep working at it. Keep doing what you're going to do. Because here's what's going to happen. There's going to be a time when the proof shows up. That's number 3. The proof is going to show up, and it's going to show up when you need it. Like at a national competition, when you've worked hard, you put in all of the high effort, you've gotten little just, microscopic increases, nothing big. But my goodness, you kept doing it. And when you got to the national championship, everything came together and boom, there it is. So I want to encourage you on today. Don't you dare give up. Don't you dare slack back. You keep giving the high effort, and you'll take those little micro steps. You'll take them and you'll take them and you'll take them. And before you know it, they're going to add up to something big and dynamic. That's number two. Here's number three. Number three is proof of the process. It shows up suddenly, it appears. Okay. Now, people think that the process should just work overnight. But I got some news for you. The people also think that success is gradual. Listen to me and listen closely. It often appears suddenly after long periods of nothing. That's when your success is going to show up. Now, I'm not telling you that you're not going to have some indicators that you're moving in the right direction, but the true success is going to be like I was talking about one day in a drill meet. If that's the true success, one presentation you give to your boss, that's going to be success. But because the progress is delayed, people stop right before they're at their breakthrough. They quit right before it appears. And I don't want that to happen to you. I want to encourage you, stay with the process. Let me paint you an example. Let's take a pot of water and we're going to set it on the stove. And we're going to turn the flame up too high because we want this water to boil. But you know what? When you set that pot of water on the burner and you turn the fire or the burner up to high, nothing happens initially. The water starts to gradually warm up. You can still stick your finger in it and the water is just gradually warming up. 150 degrees, nothing. 170 degrees, nothing. 190 degrees temperature on that water and nothing is happening. But at that temperature of 212, instantly almost, that water begins to steam. It begins to boil. The transformation, though, was building the whole time. When we were going through the 150, that's transformation build. When we was going through the 170, that's transformation build. When we were going through the 190, that's transformation build. That is exactly the way your process works. It is happening gradually, but the success appears suddenly. And people think that happens overnight. They'll look at you and say, you're an overnight wonder. Well, that was the longest night of my life if that was the case. But the truth of the matter is, if you trust the process and you stay with it, every repetition, every bit of practice, the long hours, every disciplined decision, eating correctly, getting in the gym, being sore, it all is stacking up one upon the other. And before you know it, that day, the results appear and everybody's going to be looking at you going, wow, that happened fast. No, it didn't. It didn't happen fast. It happened suddenly, but it did not happen fast because I know the truth. I know what happened. I know it didn't happen fast. It happened faithfully. Oh boy, that's a good one right there. What do you mean? I was faithful to the process. I didn't cave in. I didn't give up and quit. So it didn't happen fast, but it happened through me being faithful to my process and watching great things come to pass. So I hope this has helped you on today. I want to encourage you. Don't cave in. Don't give up. Don't quit. It is working. You have got to say that to yourself over and over and over again. It is working, but I got to be faithful. I don't want to be fast. I want to be faithful because if I'm faithful, then my success will happen quickly. I hope this has blessed you on today. This is Coach David. Listen, stay committed to your process. Don't you dare quit right before your results appear, right before you get that breakthrough you've been looking for. And if you need some encouragement in that, call me. I'll encourage you. I will encourage you to stay. You don't know how many things look like they weren't working for me in my life, but I stayed with it. I trusted the process and bam, there it is. I'm going to get out of here on today. I hope that I've helped you on today and that I've strengthened you. If this has helped you, like and follow, please. Also, if this has helped you, I want you to share it with somebody else because we want to help others. We want to get it out there and let people know all they got to do is trust the process and don't quit right before the results appear. Well, I'm signing off for the day. But remember this right here. Remember this. You are the architect of your life. I'm Coach David. I believe in you. I will see you the next time. Have a great one. Bye.